industry. Essentially what it means is, and what she has given a very good example of collaboration between the industry and the academy. I remember in my earlier organization, we had tied up with Sihakat Institute in Pune, and we did something with them. Again, no cost to the student, but we trained them because we wanted to be day one ready when they joined me. Okay. So these are some, I would say, still scattered efforts. What we should aim at, and I think some of the people here can make that happen, is suggesting to the government or to the respective ministry as to how this whole relationship can be structured and how we can ensure that the content that is delivered in the university is relevant for the industry. I'm not saying it is completely irrelevant, but there is still a gap which needs to be bridged. Right? So thank you for sharing this.
So Anup, there is a initiative by AICTE, and according to the policy, 20% of the curriculum on the engineering college campus should be run with the support of the industry. Having said, it is not getting initiated yet. We all in this room are going to badly affected, as he rightly said, that if a student is not trained, we're going to have a huge impact, a negative impact. So with this fact that 20% education and training can be done with the support of the industry, we should move with a sense of urgency, get in touch with as many colleges as possible and say that we are ready. Because ultimately those students who are after training are going to be coming to this.
And we are seeing that trend also. I'm from Immersive, and we are seeing the trend that there is a lot of corporates of coming, trying to generate e-learning content and trying to reach out to the colleges. Right? I think what you mentioned is pretty accurate. I think there is also Anubhav from Tata here sitting. I think they are also doing a lot of ready engineer programs in the same lines. So I think the industry is trying to connect with the academy.
Okay, I take it. We had a question.
No, I didn't have a query. I just wanted to add in
Please add.
to
Please add.
the education part of it, like he raised the point. Now, talking about the schools, the formative years of a child, thankfully now the government has taken an initiative called continuous and comprehensive evaluation. You know, it is nothing but like you said, you know, don't give me the feedback after 11 months.
Yeah.
And this is precisely what it is. You know, whatever I learn now, let me apply it immediately. Evaluate me continuously, than waiting for the end of the year and then giving me a result. Because like a very small example, we all learned the Pythagoras theorem. Now, how many of we really know that where do we apply it?
I had difficulty learning also.
My nephew, he knows that it is used in building bridges, as soon as he learned it. So I think it is going towards a positive way.
Absolutely. Yes, please.
Just something about one of the slide on the right hand side, you have mentioned about 53% related to mentoring, whether they have failed or something like that for written. But if your mentoring process more than managers, you have to be mentors, something like that.
Okay.
Right, yes, sir.
Yeah.
So because a lot of companies are talking about this, so you are in the process. So could you please talk
So,
more?
okay. Now I am the coach mentor myself. I'll tell you what the context of this information that is behind me. The 73% of people are expecting them to be coached for life and not coached only for my organization. That's that 53%. So if I have a project to deliver, I will take that person, coach him, and once the project is over, I shut it off. That is okay. But I am not building a skill which is beyond the organization or the life cycle which I am going to run with you. So that's the 73% expectation, that I want a mentor or a coach who can build me for the future, whether I remain with this organization or I change the organization. That's the differentiation point. Does it answer? Okay. Yes, please.
So I had a question, it may not be relevant to the presentation, but I just wanted to check with the group here. What about, there are things, innovative things like gamification and all for training. So would be one of the sources or one of the modes where?
See, just-in-time learning is a 35,000 feet story. When you go to implement, you will have to use various models of or principles of learning. Gamification will be required. And also it depends on the organizational maturity. Like what I would have done in my past 5 organizations, I may not be able to do in my next organization because the maturity is not existing. So gamification as a practice or as a principle is a good principle, but is that organization willing and ready to do it? Today that's a choice. Tomorrow it will not be a choice. It is going to be that way.
In fact, interestingly, there are organizations using gamifications not only for learning, they're using it for assessment. They're also using it for hiring people. Because, these are simulations, real life business simulations which are run through technology-based games here, which also show what is a leader's decision-making ability. So it depends on one, I completely agree with you when it talks about organization readiness. But more important is being clear on what are you using it for and what benefits do you hope to achieve out of it. So being clear on its objective, rather than fitting a tool to a purpose, be clear on the purpose first. And then fit a tool to it.
Thanks, Ajay. Both hands coming together. Who decides who wants to go?
Hi, look, my name is Rajat. Let us for a different view in terms of while the entire transition in terms of culture and the change that is required for an organization to undergo. But we also need to understand that any point in time in the organization's history, there is going to be millennials and there's going to be old stubborns who's going to be living together. So the culture and the performance management or the way we execute ourselves is going to be very, very different. So there are people, maybe 30-40% of the workforce, which is going through last 2 decades, which are part of a institution, which is part of a structured learning or a delivery mechanism. How do we actually help them to come into transition? What is the?
I mean, it's all of us.
It's all of us. So it's going to be quite a challenging situation for the custodians of the organization. How do you ensure that there is enough flexibility shown for the new generation to walk in comfortably and we are able to address their needs and their expectations, aspirations. But at the same time, how do we look in terms of people who are already there? Because this transition will take a decade for the new generation to take over, right? How do we look in terms of addressing those aspirations which are already sitting in the organization? I think that's the biggest question that we should look in terms of addressing, without compromising on the overall organization.
Absolutely. So I think 2 points, if I'm to look at it from the lens of this purpose of this session, I think we are talking about preparing. You see the title, it's about preparing. If I were you, I would have the same question if I was sitting there. How I would view it is it a choice not to have a millennial? It's not a choice, right? They are going to come. The only way my organization can prepare me is to first tell me that a big change is your way and then help me in this transition. Because I will still have some people, like you rightly said, some that 30-40% people in my team who are the old timers, so to say, and around 50% who are new. Now I have to learn skills to manage 2 generations in a way. And I cannot say, okay, now you are not required, you are old, let me focus here. You can't do that. So I as a leader will have to really acquire skill and capability to manage the expectations of both the generations and also skills to connect with both of them. And the organization will give me a framework. Certain things can happen, for example, appraisals. The process will be still there, but it will be more linear than what it used to be. So thank you for bringing up that. The last question, please.
Yeah, actually a connected point. I would like to just know within your organization what does the demographic look like, and what is the distribution of instructor-led training and self-paced learning. And the second question is, you said that you usually look at self-paced learning for the soft skill training part of it. Now, there you said that you usually get expert content, curate it and get it converted into self-paced learning. Have you considered also buying off-the-shelf learning? And if you have, what has been the acceptability within your organization of that content?
So, okay, there are 2 answers to your question. First and foremost, my organization is a US organization. So all decisions pertaining to the content is taken there. Now I will answer the second part. The second part is 30% of my total learning man hours come from e-learning. and that is soft skills. When it comes to domain and technical, in US, L&D does not handle technical. In India, L&D handles technical. So again, this is within the organization, there is a diversity that we are dealing with. In India, we do technology programs, either instructor-led or virtual classes, because 50% of the topics are from within the company. So it's not that we do AngularJS the way it is available, we do AngularJS the way we need it in our product development. So we partner with few institutions, Seed being one of them, to design the content and deliver it. Mode is secondary for us. The third point which I can share with you now is our view on e-learning adoption is, I joined this company about 1.5 years back where e-learning was almost 10%. In last 1 year, we have shifted from 10 to 30%. I had to personally reach out to many senior leadership members and say that this can be done through this e-learning also. So there is that internal sell that I have to do when it comes to e-learning as a platform for learning things. The next year, which not this year, but 2018, we will be stepping into gamification. Some of our courses currently, which are mandatory programs, they have gamified assessments, as Ajay was talking about. Because again, there is a culture and there is a maturity that matters. So if I do gamification entirely, my workforce will not connect to it. Right? So I have done a blend of a standard e-learning principles ending with a gamified assessment. So that's an example to tell them that there could be an assessment through a game. Now people are asking me, what was that? So next year we will increase that percentage, but maybe another 10%, 15%, and gradually move towards gamification. So coming to even her point, for me it's not an option anymore. Only thing is we are staging it according to my organizational maturity, and obviously budgets play a role in the whole game. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.